Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we'll be starting a series of lectures on economic survey concepts only. What I'm talking about, concepts. Okay, along with that, facts also we'll cover, and very important for UPSC 2026 prelims examination. Please make sure that you watch all the lectures, and we'll also cover all the MCQs with regard to economic survey. So what we are trying to do is we are learning the concepts here, okay, and we are learning the facts which are given in the economic survey. With that, what will happen? You in the MCQ in the prelims examination, one statement will be given as what I say is that concept. Second statement could be given as what, whether the capital formation has increased or decreased, whether the inflation has been steady or not, what is the performance of our Indian economy with regard to global economy. So they can ask you one statement like this, one statement like this, so one factual, one static. They can ask you like this. Okay, that's why we will cover the economic concept, with the help of which you can also study the economic subject very properly, and you are well prepared to go for the examination. Okay, let us start our discussion. Please don't be in hurry, don't be in rush, because we have to complete the economic survey. Why? Because total complete year 2026 year, okay, this economic survey will be the foundation of lots of facts, lots of preliminary questions, and lots of data with regard to what mains examination. Okay, so don't just see that I have not made the PPTs properly, or did not make it very good representation as given in many of the YouTube channels. We are not concerned with it. We are here importantly discussing with regard to what is required for the examination. Don't look at the PDF as such. It is just a PDF. It is very important that I am giving you a lecture. The lecture seems to be very interesting for all of you for sure. So make sure that you make a white paper with you, white book with you, a new fresh book you have with you. Along with that, okay, pen you take it and make a heading like economic survey chapter number 1. Right. So I will also be discussing the various important concepts. Okay. So the first one, it says that the global economic environment remains uncertain. Now it is very important that what is the meaning of global economic environment. When I talk about economic environment, what do you feel in your mind? Right, what it is given in the economic survey, they told that global economic environment, they talk like that. No, so let us also discuss what is the meaning of economic environment here. Economic environment is nothing but whatever the various dimensions of economy are there constitutes the economic environment. Let us suppose economic environment consists of economic structure, which includes agriculture, industry, and service. This is one point. Economic environment consists of also what, trade, nothing but exports and imports of goods and services. Economic environment consists of what, production and consumption. Economic environment consists of what, supply chain, where it is a global supply chain. Economic environment consists of what, investment, okay, FDI, FII. So the survey says that in the first line, the survey says that the global economic environment, all these variables are uncertain. None of them are actually performing very good. This is not steady increase, not steady decrease, not they are constantly performing. So ups and downs we are able to see because of what, various geopolitical tensions. It has been mentioned in the economic survey only. They said that the global economic environment, they said like that the global economic environment is very uncertain. So and they have given the reasoning also why it is uncertain. Why? Because the global economic environment is uncertain because it is shaped by geopolitical tensions. This is what they have mentioned in the economic survey. So what is the meaning of geopolitical tensions here? You know that in many of the geographical locations across the world, okay, we are finding what, tensions. Some tensions are because of what, war, which is nothing but between Russia and Ukraine, Israel and Hamas. Lot of aggression we will also see with regard to Iran and Israel and Russia, Iran, Israel and USA. So you can see that Libya is there, okay, Lebanon is there, all of these countries, and you can see that Thailand and Cambodia. So many of the countries are engage in what, war, engage in what, aggression. Recently we have also seen that there was a terrorist attack in Pahalgam on India. So we have launched Operation Sindoor. So you can see that in the complete globe, lots of geographical locations apart from South America, apart from Africa, you can see the rest of the world is engaged in what, either war, either aggression, either hostilities, etc., so and so forth. In this particular scenario, you cannot be expecting the economic environment to be perfect, right or wrong? Yes, that is what the survey says here. Let us go and see that. Right. So you can see what I have told you is written here, that global economic environment is very uncertain. Why? Because it is shaped by what, geopolitical tensions that I have mentioned. Trade disruptions are there, very true. Why? Because when we are buying oil from Russia, US is saying that don't buy from Russia. Recently the Indo-US trade deal which says that India can also buy from Venezuela. So you can say that there was dictation, means the USA is interfering in our foreign policy, nothing but we are a sovereign nations. Okay, we are not going to be dictated by any other country with regard to how we manage our external and internal affairs. Very true, right? Yes, but USA is dictating that we need to not buy their oil from Russia, but we have to go from any other source, also from Iran, because in Iran also Chabahar port, whatever we are building with the for the Iranians, okay, US is also saying that you will not be going into Iran and building that particular project also. So you just understand that because of that, lot of trade disruptions are happening. We made a contract with Iran, so that particular trade is also disrupted. We engaged with Iran and also Russia for the import of oil, that has also been disrupted, right or wrong. So trade disruptions are happening. Divergent growth is nothing but, you can see this way. Right, divergent growth rate is nothing but, let us suppose this is USA, this is Japan, this is China, this is India. So all these countries are having like, this is growth rate, 5% growth rate is there. Okay, in and around this USA growth rate is this much, we are having this much, like this we are having. This is called as what? A normal growth rate across the countries. But the survey says that we are having divergent growth rate, nothing but USA is here, Japan is here, China is here, India is at 7%. So across the world also we are not able to see a constant or a standard, okay, what I say is that growth rate. So divergent growth rate, we are seeing divergent growth rate. It means that all the countries are not actually going on the same growth rate. Okay, some are having very high growth rate, some are having what? Low growth rate. That is what the survey mentions. So divergent growth rate and inflation outcomes will definitely come into existence for sure, right? Okay, so whenever growth rate is happening, obviously there is more supply of what? Goods will be there. When more supply of goods will be there, there will be decrease in the prices. It will lead to inflation. But if the divergent growth rate is there, if the country is saying very low growth rate, obviously supply will be less because the production is less, and that particular country may go for what? Inflation. So different inflation outcomes we are able to see across the world. That is what the survey says. Okay. Right. Then after discussing across the world what is happening, the survey went to discuss about India's state of economy at this point of time. And the survey says that Indian economy has maintained a very good growth rate of 7.4%. Okay, this is very important. Advanced estimates, why we are saying we are done with quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 of the financial year, but January, February, March is the quarter 4 for here. Okay, for us. Okay, as because the survey is presented in February, so obviously you will not have the data of what? Quarter 4. That's why taking the 3-quarter growth rate as one of our foundation to calculate what could be the growth rate for the complete financial year. So we have taken the average, we have done some statistical analysis over it, and we have predicted that in 2025 to 2026 we will be having the growth rate of 7.4%. Why we are saying advanced? If there is an increase and decrease happen, then we will again change it to revised advanced estimates. So right now the advanced estimates are what? 7.4%. And this particular 7.4%, if you are unaware of this fact, it is better than the world. It is better than the world average growth rate. Remember this point. We are doing lot better with regard to the advanced economies. Okay, we are doing literally well. And the survey says that the 7.4% growth rate is driven by what? Increased domestic demand. Now domestic demand, we are having private consumption and capital formation are also helping a lot with regard to the growth rate of Indian economy. Now let us discuss what are these 3 important concepts. Yes. The survey mentions that India's growth rate of 7.4% is basically driven by what? Domestic demand. Domestic demand, then it also mentions that private consumption. Okay. Then it also mentioned that apart from private consumption, capital formation. The survey says that these are the 3 important variables are there which are doing very well. That is the reason what is happening. 7.4% of growth rate we are able to see. What is the meaning of domestic demand? Any demand. Okay, demand of goods. Okay, demand of goods which are produced in our country and demanded by what? Population. That is called as what? Domestic demand. Any demand of goods and services within our territory of the country, it is called as what? Domestic demand. External demand is nothing but the demand which is coming from outside. Let's suppose for cotton, lot of countries purchase. So cotton demand, external demand is more here. Okay, so that's why we are talking here. What I say is that here we are talking about domestic demand. Domestic demand is the demand which is created within the country, and the demand is coming from all the areas. So that will come into what? In the next concept. Domestic demand, you understood that any demand which is made within the boundary of the country, then it is called as private consumption. What is the meaning of private consumption? Private consumption very simply means that apart from government, any other demand, any other consumption being, obviously any other consumption done by private people like us. So basically, if you see our NCRT, NIOS, the various textbooks of the government of India, we come to know that they have given the private consumption as okay, that the consumption of households like your house, my house, etc., that is called as household consumption, coming from households, and the consumption which is coming from non-governmental institution, nothing but madrasas, nothing but mosque, nothing but temples, nothing but charitable trust, nothing but gurudwaras. So any demand made by non-government institutions plus households, that all comes under what? Private consumption. It means in our country, if you see who will be there in our country, government will be one, government, NMDC, NTPC, government and government institutions are there. Apart from that government, who else will be there? Private consumption will be there. Private consumption is nothing but us. So private consumption, who will be there? Basically households will be there and non-governmental institution will be there. This together constitutes what? This together constitutes the private consumption. So the survey says that domestic demand of the country is increasing, private consumption is country is increasing, capital formation is also increasing. All of these are leading to what? 7.4% growth rate. Now let us discuss what is the meaning of capital formation. Okay, remember this point: any asset you put to use, okay, for generation of what? For generation of goods and services, it is called as what? Capital formation. Remember this point: any asset you put to use for generation of what? To generate goods and services, to produce goods and services, is called as what? Capital formation. Let us suppose a government of India or the private people, maybe the Act Fiber Network or GeoNet or AirtelNet, they lay what? Optical fibers. They lay optical fibers. This laying of optical fibers, big fibers, establishing of towers, is nothing but these are capital assets. Okay, and capital has been formed. And why they are doing this? In order to give what? Internet services. In order to generate what? Internet services. In order to produce what? Internet services. It means what? This optical fibers comes under what? Capital formation. Okay, in the same way, if you talk about any machine, okay, like JCB cement, why it is produced, why it is manufactured? Obviously it is used for doing some service or not, digging, etc., so and so forth. Yes, so it is also comes under what? Capital formation. Any machine, any asset, any land, any equipment, any tool, any of these, if it increases, obviously all of these increases, what will happen? There is an increase in the production. That's why these will increase. Okay, suppose if we are having, India is having land area, 15% of the land area is under what? Agriculture. Let's suppose 15% of the agriculture increased, land area increased to 16%. So 1% increase in agriculture happened. This 1% increase obviously will lead to what? Increase in production or not? Yes. Okay, we are not talking about how there it will be decreasing, here it will be increasing, so it may balance. We are not talking about it. We are keeping that the 15% agriculture production is like 50 million tons of tomatoes. 1% we added, we are keeping it constant, and we will assume that okay, by adding 1%, obviously we will have 1% increase in tomatoes production or not? Yes. So this land is what? Now monetized. The land is now monetized. Okay, when the land is monetized, obviously to generate what? Agricultural crops, or to generate what? Commercial buildings, etc., so and so forth, then also we call it as capital formation. So very important three concepts I have discussed with you. Okay, let us go ahead and see what is there in the survey again. Right, this much we have learned. We have seen that the whatever the growth rate that India is having, 7.4%, it is mainly driven by domestic demand, private consumption and capital formation, and it is supporting our expansion of our economy. And here the survey gives a very superficial understanding of how these subsectors of economy are performing: agriculture, industry and service. The survey says that the growth rate of our GDP is mainly driven by what? Services. Service remain the key contributor to the supply side. Manufacturing sector has strengthened. Nothing but manufacturing sector is performing better than the last year. Okay, basically the manufacturing sector will be around 10-20%. Its contribution to the GDP will be there. It is getting better. So we'll study that anyhow in manufacturing sector. At this point of time, superficially, the survey says that manufacturing sector is strengthened, doing better than previous. And the survey also says that agriculture has provided stability. Agriculture did not go very down. No negative growth rate, no slow growth rate. Agriculture is also what very much stable. That is what the survey says. Despite lot of what? Constraints. Lot of constraints are there. This US imposition of tariffs on our agriculture products. Okay, lot of trade disruptions, global supply chain disruptions. Even though all of that is happening, our agriculture sector has been resilient. Even the global warming, climate change, all of these constraints are there. Even we know that we do not have the full irrigation with regard to the agricultural areas. Though we do some in same area, one crop only we can able to grow, one season only we can able to do agriculture. Whatever it is, the various constraints that we are having, but still we are able to make sure that agriculture is going better. That is what we have learned. Okay, So then it says that it gives the overview of what that chapter revises economics. So in this particular chapter, in the next class, we are going to see what key macroeconomic fundamentals, including inflation, how it was performing, financial sector conditions, fiscal development, external sector performance. All of these we will be seeing in a superficial manner, because each one of these have the separate chapter. But this is the first chapter. The first chapter talks about what state of economy, how the economy is there at this particular point of time. So complete economy will be discussed in first chapter. Then we'll go into specific chapters. That's how the survey will be always be getting what. Okay, done. Fine. So I'll be seeing you in the next class with regard to economic survey. Stay tuned to watch me. And in the whenever the class is over, the next day we are doing what MCQs. These MCQs are very important for examination for UPSC 2026 or any other examination which you are writing under the sky of what India. Okay, I hope this is all clear to you. Take care. Do subscribe to my channel and do join my mentorship classes, test series, and economy and formation classes. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye bye.